streaming?
Yeah, duplicate as well. And if you ever
I'm asking what's different about these. Oh, where they come from?
check, because a lot of times I don't.
Oh,
There's no,
I see what they
That's because they
thank you.
I received that.
That's a good
12 was the right answer.
Oh, I see. Mine came in late, but
Yeah.
I got you. I'm reading it through. I don't see the difference.
So we took what we had passport and we had Tom Dillon added into his contract. And then we did the license, purchase the umbrella policy for $1 million. Which increased the price of things. Provide us with an OCBI and he's still got to provide us with an OCBI.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Once his, it's going to be.
What?
Contract is valid.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's not for a half hour.
No, I know, but just to remind you,
I was gonna get out of here.
we outvoted.
How are you?
You don't get out of it yet. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, pizza.
Got about a minute to go.
I had her switch it, yeah. 11 was a duplicate.
Yeah.
So she, that's why she
Did
made it
this one?
12.
Okay. I was confused there.
It was, yeah. So-
Okay, I got approximately 6:30, so we're going to get rolling here. Welcome to the Lancaster Town Board work session for June 3rd, 2024. And what we're going to do is have two presentations tonight, Ransom and Broadway subdivision and a presentation from New Wave. So who do we have up first?
Hello again. Jason Burker with GPI. Sure, a couple of weeks ago, the client had wanted to have a 5-lot subdivision that, of course, is affected by the moratorium. So what we've done is we've come back and turned this into a 4-lot subdivision, which actually will work out better anyways because of this potential conflict of the neighbor having built a shed on there. So the potential is that that neighbor has expressed some interest in perhaps buying that whole corner. So that may just make it much simpler, much easier than with it just being 4 lots, all fronting on Ransom Road.
Okay, and that bigger lot now is going to be, it's just going to be sold as one lot?
Yes, yeah, because the conflict right here, the neighbor built onto this portion, so.
I got you. Okay.
Is it the southeast corner?
This is the southeast corner.
Questions from the board?
No, it's,
No. We're good with 4, but not with 5, correct? Okay. Okay. All right. Push it on to the planning board at this point? Sure. Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Great.
Set up appointments with the planning board. Thank you very much. And the next up is New Wave. Sure.
Thank you for having me. I'm just going to run
Okay.
through this in order.
Please state your name and,
Kevin Kreitzer, New Wave Energy. Specifically, I head up the Municipal Energy Management Program. So I focus solely on municipal customers.
yeah. You pass that all the way over to Matt Burhead.
This is for Matt.
Good? Thanks
Yeah,
for having
go
me.
ahead.
Appreciate the time. Like I said, I'll just run through this in order, and I'll address the attachments as well. Municipal Energy Management Program is proposing a fixed rate for the town, which is a little different from variable rates that the town is probably on now. So currently you purchase on a variable rate that's just subject to market swings. So a few years ago, we saw that wipe out any savings, potential savings, because the market shoots up and like triples supply cost. So that's what I'm addressing. In the following pages, there's some wholesale pricing that we're forecasting is going to kind of go up 30% year over year wholesale. So a fixed rate allows you to kind of take control over that, and it's really budget friendly, so you can forecast as far out as you want. The idea is you pay today's rate for 24 months or 12 months or 36 months, and that's how you really save, is you hedge the wholesale rate for electric and gas. So I'll go over the savings, and then what I'm requesting is just to take a closer look at it. So that's kind of what I'm requesting from this work session, is just to look closer, get copies of bills. I'm going over usage that we had from like 2017 or 18, so it's probably close to accurate, but I don't know if we did anything with streetlights or anything since then. So I'll just go to the second page. That's us, Municipal Energy Management Program. Question for you: do you already participate in NYSERDA Community Solar for the town accounts? Any idea? CDG credits?
Don't know.
So, okay, that's part of my question too. It's a NYSERDA program, and I thought.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. A question to look into that too. We're locally owned. We're actually Lackawanna or Lancaster owned. Sorry. Our owners are local. So we do fixed rates, community solar. Third page is the forecast. This is from Constellation. This is from Energy Generators. So this is actually the wholesale rate, increasing approximately 30%, 2025, those spikes. So this is what we're anticipating. Now the fourth page is cost savings. So imploring this, we see at 11% savings, $25,000, $26,000 just on the first look at this. So also when you look at the pricing graph, it shows that's how the fixed rate works. It's steady while the prices increase on a variable rate. Then I just have some references here. We do work with the village currently. For a long time we have. So the last few pages are just municipal references locally. We're in 5 states. So that's the ask. If I could look at it closer, and we are receiving most RFPs for municipalities for fixed rates. So the trend is going this way too. Not that that really matters, but yeah.
Questions from the board?
So are you kind of like a wholesaler where you purchase X amount of gas, so X amount at this rate, you bump it up because you got to make money, but then sell it to everyone else at a lower rate?
That's
to
exactly
save money?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no middlemen in between us, though. We're not brokers. We do go direct title to the wholesale markets in the state. So that's an important distinction.
Any other questions from the board? We will, well, take a look at it, get back to you on
I'll
it.
follow up, yeah. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Thanks.
By the
Thank
way,
you.
what do you say for Bishop Time in St. Jude High School?
What do I save for?
That's where I went.
Oh, yeah.
kinda interesting.
I don't manage that account personally,
Oh,
but
all right.
I think they're on a fixed rate, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, that's our two presentations. Right now, what we're going to do is go around to the department heads and see what's going on in each department. Oh, sir. Ed, you want to start us off, please? Ed Schiller, Town Engineer.
Sure. Historical building, got a change order in for some additional work, just need authorization. Soffits, they've restarted the work. They've found some additional deterioration as they've been scraping and getting rid of the paint. So we're talking with the architect and the contractor coming up with some options. Brickyard is almost, is Bruce here? Yeah, it's almost done. The netting, did it show up today? I don't know if it came in today or not. Okay. Netting should be in this week, and that's the last really piece that's got to go up. So the other items should be in pretty good shape.
Okay.
The building, the police building facade, we had a meeting last week. Last week, with the architect and police and Dawn and myself, going over some options, waiting for a proposal from the architect on the most cost-effective way to fix that building. Nothing's going to be cheap, but trying to find the most economical way to go about it. Walden Pond Turf Farm survey is done, so we're putting together the packages for the contractors.
Okay.
And the Enchanted Forest South Ped Bridge, there's a resolution in for the design of the repairs. So as soon as that's authorized, we can move ahead with that and get that going. That's it.
Okay,
I
and
just-
the walk, sorry, go ahead.
Do we have a time frame on the facade here that they're shooting for hopefully before 4th of July?
Facade here.
Facade.
The soffit you're talking?
Or soffit, all that stuff.
I don't have a
Sorry.
timeline. I can find out.
Okay.
That might be iffy.
Okay.
How much work they got to do.
Yeah, it seems like the progress is being made. It probably isn't looking like 4th of July, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We can make sure, well, we can talk to, Bruce and I can talk to figure out if we want to at least get the front entrance cleaned up a little bit before the 4th of July, so,
Okay.
you know, it'll still be closed, but maybe we can make it look a little nicer.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Could you give us just a short statement on the wetlands at Westwood Park, the delineation and the walkthrough?
Sure. Yeah, we did a walkthrough of the portion of Westwood that the town, part of the town park, which is north of the east end of the park, I guess you want to call it that. And then there was a second parcel that we discovered the town owns that joins that. We walked both those parcels last week. Yeah, I think it was last week. Unfortunately, about 80% of those parcels were wetland, jurisdictional wetland, which meant even if we went to the Corps to ask for permission to do something, they wouldn't allow us probably more than a couple acres of disturbance. And if we did, they would require mitigation. It's still about 2 to 1, so say you disturbed 2 acres, they'd make you create 4 acres. There's a bank of wetland from Ducks Unlimited that typically you go through and you buy the wetlands at about $130,000 an acre. So,
So it wasn't good.
no, my opinion is the land is not usable. There is a piece off of Westwood that is not wetland that, you know, depending on what we do with the trail going up to Heritage across the National Fuel portion, you might be able to put a small parking area there for a trailhead. That's possible. That's not wetland, but that'd be about it.
Thank you. Matt?
Well, we had a pretty active May. A lot of property maintenance issues, a lot of inspections, notifications. We were able this morning to supply a MS4 report for the month of May. We had a brief discussion with the committee meeting at 6 earlier today. I do want to report last week I did get recertified for the CEDAR program. It's a code enforcement disaster assistance response that's sponsored by the Department of State should the town experience significant damage from a weather event or some other catastrophe. You know, we're able to draw on our adjoining townships to assist us with assessing the damage on specific buildings within that area. And I'm pleased to say that hopefully at the end of this week, I'll be able to make a presentation to the high school, to our seniors and hopefully some juniors, to have them thinking about what they want to do in their either summertime and or career path. Hopefully recruiting for code enforcement and/or other public service.
Very good. Thank you. Michelle?
Good evening. John would just like me to say a few words to you. He is at Highway School out in Ithaca, so he's not able to be here. On resolution number 13, we are putting forward John Robertson IV. We interviewed John Robinson back 2 months ago. He had very good drainage working through Salino Plumbing. He had also drainage and plumbing experience. John Robinson IV went and took his CDL, was able to get his license within 2 months on his own to join our team, and we were very excited to have him as a new hire in the Highway Department. Second off, I'd like to thank Councilman Burkhardt for his help in this MOA for the blue collar that was discussed during the Eclipse meeting on how we wanted to handle our department after checking with a lot of other superintendents and how they were handling the situation with them coming in. Basically, we came in case the parks needed help controlling camping and issues like that. And we had spoken what John and other highway superintendents were doing for their employees. So appreciate your getting that together for the blue collar. Other than that, we're going to begin paving in the south. We did the north. We're going to Village View, Park Walk, Schiffler Court. We will be there June 10th to Mill. We will be paving the week after, the 17th and the 18th. And then we will have most of our paving done, maybe one more street if we can fit it in within the constraints, and move on to all the drainage issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce?
Good evening, Honorable Town Board. Bruce Stutz, Lancaster Parks, Recreation, Forestry, and Buildings. On the agenda today, I'm looking for board support for resolution number 14 that is before the board. It's a big one, big time of year for our department as far as the seasonal part-time hires. So on the playground side, we have 7 returning employees and 9 new employees, prospective employees. On the labor side, 6 returning and 6 new laborers. For lifeguards, we have 25 lifeguards returning, which is an excellent number, and 7 new. A lot of them are subs, but we'll be well staffed at the Keys of Park Pool this year. On the tennis side, we have 12 returning and 4 new employees. We have a new water aerobics instructor. Looks like 77 part-time seasonal employees coming on, so.
Total of 77?
Yes.
Okay.
So looking for support on that. Ed mentioned the Brickyard, hopefully the last hiccup. Feels like I've been saying a lot of hiccups here throughout the last year or so. But the brackets on the poles weren't set to the proper height. So we had them spot welded to the proper height. They did the touch-up paint. The netting was special ordered. So netting that was taking 6-8 weeks now, they're trying to get it 3 to 4 days. So fingers crossed, we should have it tomorrow. That's the last piece of that backstop puzzle. We still have some more work to do as far as site work around the backstop. Our guys will be working on that once they're off site for this big part of it. Michelle mentioned the highway department as far as the paving. So our crews are doing a great job. They're pruning for the paving. So today they were at 12, 15 guys at Village View knocking a lot of that out. Park Walk and Schiffler Court we're going to hit tomorrow. So on that side. So last board meeting, appreciate all the support for the multi-purpose turf field at Walden Pond Park. I think it's going to be an excellent addition to our community. So I appreciate all the support, Don, Bob, and Adam, Mark, and Melissa. So any questions for us, our departments?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chief?
Good evening. So I recently sent out an email to Councilman Schroeder in regards to the potential for some Department of Transportation grant money that might be available. As you know, we're trying to establish a commercial vehicle enforcement team within the department. We have an officer that is now certified. So we're going to be looking into some potential federal grant money that will help establish some possible funds to be able to conduct some additional details, to get the officer out there, making sure that our roads are safe with the large amount of commercial vehicles going through the town. The other thing we've got going on right now that is of significant interest is we are posted for the potential candidate for dog control. Officer Major has been returned full active, released from his doctor back to active duty. So the agreement with the union was that once that happened, we would post it for opening to the department for that position. It's currently posted, and it'll be posted through the rest of today and until tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, at which point we'll be sitting down with the appropriate candidates and hopefully having a selection made within the next week of who's going to leave the dog control department from the police department.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Ron, do you have anything?
Good evening. First, I'd like to ask town board support on resolution number 10. I have an old bus that we use as a communications vehicle, very old, and 3 trailers that we'd like to list as surplus. Again, they're all very old. I think the newest one is early 2000s model. So what I would hope to do is we put those up for auction. Any money we get in from those to put that towards the cost of 1 new trailer. And once we figure out how much we get back, then I'll look into and do some research on that. Last week, I was able to attend the IADI International Association of Arson Investigators spring training. Didn't cost the town anything. Excellent training. Something they went over was large fires and being able to coordinate multi-agency responses. So that was some really good training. And there was another training seminar that I'll talk with Matt about as far as building codes, fire violations, and different stuff like that. So I'd just like to thank the board for, I talked to the supervisor to attend that, and he allowed that. So, any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nick?
Nick Swanson, Director of Administration and Finance. So I just hit 4 months with the town as of May 25th. And the biggest highlight as of right now that I wanted to point out is that the implementation of the payroll software, Paychex, has been a huge success. The town has successfully processed payroll in-house for the first time in over a year. The 517 payroll had minimal issues, which we swiftly corrected. And there's been no errors in the 531 payroll so far. And then I wanted to also highlight the cost savings of switching to Paychex from EBC. The EBC agreement was $8,200 per month, which works out to roughly $96,000 per year. They also tacked on a $9.23 transaction fee per pay period. We average roughly 250 transactions, so that's an additional $2,500 per pay period, which works out to an additional $5,000 per month. So roughly looking at $13,000 per month for payroll software and payroll processing, just for it to be, a complete mess. So Paychex is $2.93 per transaction. So roughly 250 transactions, that's $750 a pay period, 1.5K per month. And we're looking at a payroll supervisor of $55K annually, works out to around $4,500 per month. So we're looking at a total monthly spend of roughly $6,000. So we've cut the cost in half, almost. And yet the biggest thing is just having it in-house, being able to correct issues ourselves, taking ownership. And it's a huge cost savings for the people of the town of Lancaster. And then the only other update is the 2023 audit is going along as planned. We're on track for June 28th to publish financial statements, audited financial statements. And I know that's a big big deal for the upcoming bond issuance so that investors will know, the town's financial position. And those are the two biggest highlights. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Diane?
I just want to ask for support. I already did to the board for filling my one vacancy in the office. It's on for tonight. Thank you.
Tom?
Just briefly, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody, but if you'd hand these over to Diane for me, those are
Sure.
resignation letters for myself and my assistant, effective 2 weeks from today. This will be my last meeting.
Okay.
I hope that's enough time, and I don't plan on walking out the door if whoever replaces me needs help or follow through or anything like that. Like I said, I know it's not a surprise to most of the people in the room. I'm moving on. Chief DeWalk has offered me a position that I've accepted as their town attorney. I will make myself available to my board and any department head members, department head personnel, their personnel. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone in this town who's given me this opportunity. Why am I crying? It's not a Hallmark movie. I only cry during Hallmark movies. But thank you all. It's humbling with the trust I've been given, the respect I've been shown by many people in this room. There's some sort of service-minded DNA, and our board has that. It's very hard to say thank you enough for all your support. Keep it up. I know you guys can be strong in the face of adversity. Our roads are clean because of our highway department. Our streets are safe because of our police department. We have buildings and recreation and forestry taken care of, and our parks are wonderful. People, they wish to emulate our parks, and I'm so proud of you, Bruce. That's just thanks to everybody.
Thanks, Tom. Did the board members have anything? No? 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 Okay, all right. Let's go through the pre-filed resolutions. Number 1 is mine, from the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held May 20th. Number 2 is mine, approved audited claims. Number 3, Councilmember Dickman.
This is just the issuance of building permits.
Okay. Number 4 is appoint Roxanne Regala as the clerk typist in the town clerk's office. Number 5, Councilmember Schroeder.
It's to set a public hearing for the water line for Cemetery Road, the 2025 project.
Okay. Number 6 is mine, amend resolution adopted April 15th, 2024 regarding department budget account, Video Intercom Youth Bureau. Number 7, Councilmember Dickman, and number 8 and number 9.
This is a special use permit for ESG Properties on 6125 Genesee. Number 8 is the, where is it? Special use permit for Richard Cook for 60 Michael's Walk. And number 9 is a special use permit for Brazen Brewing on Genesee Street.
Okay, number 10 is authorized auction of surplus Office of Emergency Management equipment. Number 11, Councilmember Dickman.
Number 11 is to approve the purchase of 5 new Dodge Chargers for the police department.
Okay, number 12, Councilmember Schroeder.
Authorizing the agreement with Starstruck Productions for bands to play at the town band shell this summer.
Okay, number 13 is recognize the appointment of John Robinson IV as a laborer, Highway Department. Number 14, appoint Parks, Recreation, and Forestry part-time temporary seasonal employees, which there are 77 of. Councilmember Burkhart, number 15.
Adopt and ratify a memorandum of agreement, CSEA Lancaster Blue Collar Unit.
Mark, I have issue with that resolution. Although the theory of this came with good heart and goodwill, I really feel that this MOA is for a normal workday. It's incentivizing the employees to come into work on a non-holiday. It was a normal workday from 7 to 3. And I think that setting this precedent is dangerous for other unions. It's not fair to the other unions too, but setting a precedent like this here in Lancaster, voting yes, will possibly down the road, other unions might want such a day, an on-call day for coming into a normal, to incentivize them to come into work. To other municipalities, the Village of Lancaster might end up looking for, well, the town passed this resolution, this MOA. We'd like one too. And I just think it's dangerous, as well as that's...
This was something that we haven't come across before. John went to department meeting with all the highway superintendents. Everybody was doing something a little different. I can just speak on the conversation we had for the highway department, no other department in the town. I know this was brought up at department head meeting of the town as well. There were no issues. I will stand behind this. This is something I don't think is dangerous. This is something that can be looked at down the line if we cross this bridge again on what can we do for our employees. So that's the way I look at this. And thank you for your opinion, but I am not going to pull that resolution.
And unfortunately, it's my opinion also that it's a gift of funds, which is against the New York State Ethics Commission, Section 73, Paragraph 5, as well as, honestly, too, I think Adam should recuse himself from the vote.
Why?
Because you're blue collar.
I work
you're
for a different
CSCA.
government. It has nothing to do, it's not the same unit or anything, so I will not recuse. And I also support this, as well as my initial statement from the beginning, where if we're giving it to one unit, we should give it to every full-time employee who worked that day. I'm not going to vote no because it's not fair that they don't get it, but I'd still stand and say that I think that everybody who worked that day should get it.
Well, everybody who worked that day wasn't offered that. It was only, this MOU is only for that blue collar union.
And
So why wasn't an MOU made for the white collar?
then why didn't you do
Or the
that?
dispatchers
Are
or the
you not
police
the committee
department?
chair for the whites?
I'm
Correct.
not chair of the
Correct.
dispatchers of the police. He's chair of the police. Why wasn't one done? The police were also made to serve that day. The dispatchers were made to serve that day,
I'm not
but we're not
disagreeing
giving
with
them an on-call day for their work. This, honestly, in the CBA, if they're called in for overtime or holiday, they get a choice of pay or compensatory, their choice. This is circling around to, again, it was done with goodwill and a good heart, but it's just wrong. And in all fairness to the other unions and to the taxpayers, I'm going to be voting no, I'm sorry.
Okay. When this first came out, there was an issue which we had to look at, a potential legal issue. But what we did is we managed to identify what the legal issue was, and we resolved that part of it, in my opinion. So
In conjunction with outside labor council.
yeah, so I don't think you might want to pull your microphone down so people can hear you. So I don't think we have a legal issue with this at this point in time. However, in my opinion, it does set a bad precedent. It wasn't discussed with other unions. It's something that we had never heard of before. And I think if it does pass tonight, it should be a one-time thing, and that's the last time we see of it. It's kind of offering people an incentive to come into work on a regular day, which I don't really agree with. So the legal part of it, I think, was resolved. But again, I think it sets a bad precedent. Thank you. Okay, all right, where were we? Number 16, Councilmember Dickman.
16 is a special use permit for the outdoor patio at Frank's Bar and Grill.
Okay, 17 is to appoint Jessica Pick, Assistant Dog Control Officer, part-time temporary seasonal. Number 18, Councilmember Studley.
I have 18 and 19. 18 is to adopt the negative declaration, the seeker for the vehicle and traffic ordinance. And 18 is to amend the vehicle and traffic ordinance regarding the maximum speed regulations on Warner and Stutzman.
Okay, I'm going to recognize Diane Terranola, the town clerk, on number 18.
Could we scratch out in the second whereas, where it says local law, and put ordinance, and scratch out of the year 2024? Because it does say ordinance elsewhere on the resolution. Number 1 says ordinance, and if we could omit number 2 under the, now therefore be it resolved, we don't need for an ordinance.
I didn't follow all that, I apologize. What was that again,
Sure.
Diane?
On the second whereas, we
We're on
could,
18?
On number 18?
Yeah.
18.
On the second whereas, omit where it says local law and put ordinance, and omit where it says of the year 2024. And
Mine doesn't say that.
I don't have whereas on 18 in
Are you
the
on
second.
19?
Yeah, I don't say that.
Yeah, this one for 18. Just-
oh, you know what? I just marked it myself. Sorry, so that's 19.
We're on 19?
I was looking a couple times.
I was just seeing if you guys were aware. Okay, yes, 19.
So you wanted
Pardon
to,
my
instead of a proposed local law, you want a proposed ordinance amendment?
Correct, since it does mention ordinance already in this resolution.
Well, in our local law, there is a traffic ordinance. They are not interchangeable.
In our code, there is a B&T ordinance.
That's correct.
So I'm just asking, if you don't want to change it, we won't change it. It will be the first vehicle and traffic local law of the town of Lancaster's history. I have the file here. It's always been an ordinance. But if you'd like it to be a local law,
I don't care how
it's-
it reads. You want ordinance, we'll have ordinance. That's just
can
fine.
change it to
We'll
ordinance.
Keep it consistent.
okay, so we'll omit local law, put ordinance. We'll get rid of the year 2024 and omit number 2.
I'm sorry, where is it?
Number 2, under now therefore be it resolved.
The revision shall be.
Yeah, we don't need to do that for an ordinance.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here. And Councilmember Studley, number 19? Or was that it?
I did both.
Okay, sorry. And number 20 is approve proposed minor subdivision and lot line adjustment, 3666 and 3670 Bowen Road. Okay, it is after 7 o'clock, so we are going to go right into our town board meeting. And one of the fun things is, okay, we're in the town board meeting. Diane on the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Here.
Councilmember Dickman.
Here.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Here.
Councilmember Studley.
Here.
Supervisor Leary.
Here. The invocation and pledge of allegiance tonight is by Councilmember Adam Dickman. Please remain standing.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of our community. Amen.
Okay, tonight we're going to have 20 pre-filed resolutions. We have 0 suspended resolutions, and we have 0 public hearings. We will have 10 executive sessions, 8 of which are on personnel matters, 2 are on contract matters. We didn't get any names of anybody to be in memory of tonight, so we'll pray for all the individuals who passed in the town of Lancaster. Okay. All right, since we have no public hearings going on, we're going to start off with persons who want to address the town board on any of the pre-filed or suspended resolutions. Okay, that's the only thing to talk about here. It's the pre-filed or suspended resolutions. Anybody who wants to talk about anything else will get that opportunity at the end of the meeting. The town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any pre-filed or proposed suspended resolutions for a total period of 30 minutes. Procedure is to raise his or her hand and be recognized by the supervisor, give his or her name and address to the town clerk, speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, and speak once for 5 minutes or less unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Is there anybody here who wants to be heard on the pre-filed resolutions? Yes, sir?
Kevin Lee, Master 720 Schwartz. On number 15, I went up on the website. I was trying to read what it was actually about, and there's actually no information. I heard a little bit of discussion here.
What department was this with, and exactly what went on here?
So it's with the highway department, and between now and July, the individuals, it's not all at once. And they said, I want this floating day on Monday, but they're on call. So you can't go out to the lake, you can't do anything else, you can do stuff around your house or be in the area. But if you need to come in and they need you that day, you're gonna get called in, but that day's over.
Do you have a union contract right now in force?
This was with the CSEA.
Do you have a union contract that was already voted on and is in force? So you're turning around and modifying this contract by doing this?
It's a memorandum of agreement with the union.
And who negotiated it?
It was with, I do believe, the highway superintendent, and that CSEA and legal.
So basically, the taxpayers, are giving a person a day off, is supposed to be working construction somewhere, to sit at home and maybe he might get called. And you're saying that benefits us, the taxpayer, because you feel that that person is better than another? You've got, like they said, other departments. I was a private union person. You would have been fired had somebody turned around and even came up with that from my union. This is ridiculous. This is something that shouldn't be done, and I would request that I see a complete formal breakdown of that, what was negotiated, because I want to see it in dollars and cents. Thank you.
Does anybody else want to address the town board on the pre-filed resolutions? Yes, ma'am?
I'm Tammy Schaefer, 31 Central Avenue. To Mr. Burkhart, can you please tell me, I'm an employee of the town, can you please tell me what steps I need to take? I was not given the opportunity to take advantage of the offer that's being given to another union. How should my union membership take advantage of something like that?
It came.
What are the steps that we need to take in order to
How
take
it came
advantage
to
of
me was Mr. Pilato went to a meeting and came back to me as the committee chair, and we discussed what other highway superintendents were doing in the town on a very unusual day. And we talked, and this is what we came up with. I'm just saying,
I don't doubt that.
That's what we did.
Fine. I am asking how my membership would take advantage of being able to get that day off. There are at least 6 of us that work those 24 hours. What are the steps that we need to take?
You can talk to Mr. Dickman and Chief. I'm just saying, would have to be.
Yeah, we'd have to talk to the department heads and have a formal request.
Okay, so a formal request through the chief and you guys, correct? Okay, very good, thank you.
Sir?
Mr. Supervisor, Board, Dennis Comrick, President of the White Collar. I'm just going to reiterate on number 15 that what I'm just having a trouble with is that we, the parks, were offered overtime. I understand that, okay? But what I'm having trouble with is the members that weren't eligible, okay, to work overtime or to work overtime for the extended shift on that Monday of the eclipse that we were offered because of family issues. You know, they had children to take care of, or they had other issues, okay? I think most of the members, you know, took advantage of the overtime that we covered the parks. We were aware of everything that was going on. You know, if anybody was to set up tents or trailers or camping or, you know, get an overabundance amount of people in the parks. So what I'm asking again with Tammy and other unions that are stating that effective, so what we're going to do is we're going to request for the members that weren't eligible, you know, for the overtime, you know, to receive that day. It's going to cost, you know, the members that are sitting there saying something to me in regards to this matter. So I just wanted to say that we'll probably be discussing it with Bruce and then, you know, with the board and everything to see where we got to go from there. for the members that weren't eligible to take advantage of overtime. So, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to address the board on any of the pre-filed resolutions at this point in time? Okay, I don't see any hands raised, so we're going to move forward. Okay. Do we have any official reports from the board members? No? No? Oh, no, okay. Do we have any reports of town board committees from the board members? Not at this point? No. Nope, thank you. Okay, we're going to move into the pre-filed resolutions. Number 1 is mine. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held May 20th, 2024 be and are hereby affirmed. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 2, be it resolved that the following audited claims be and are hereby ordered paid from their respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the supervisor's office, to wit, check run number 06032024. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid $1,415,773.72. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 3, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 3 for adoption. Resolved that the following building permit applications be and are hereby reaffirmed. I'm done already?
You're done already.
And there's 47 total, 39 in the town, 8 in the village. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waivers be and are hereby reaffirmed with the waiver of the town ordinance requiring for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner. And I do not believe that there are any on here that would be eligible for a CSW, correct, Ben?
That's correct.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 4, whereas Diane Terranova, Town Clerk for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated May 29, 2024, has recommended the appointment of Roxanne Regala to the position of Clerk Typist in the Office of the Town Clerk, and whereas Roxanne is eligible for appointment to this position pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the Civil Service Law, now therefore be it resolved that Roxanne Regala of Lancaster, New York be and is hereby appointed to the full position of Clerk Typist in the Office of the Town Clerk effective July 1st, 2024, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiations agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the CSEA White Collar Union and all applicable provisions of law. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor?
Yes. Councilmember Schroeder, number 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 5. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, herein called the Town Board to the town respectively in the County of Erie, New York, has pursuant to town law created the Town of Lancaster Consolidated Water District, the district, and whereas the Town Board has directed William Shutt and Associates, P.C., the town's consulting engineers, licensed in New York, to prepare a map, plan, and report for a water system capital improvements project within the district, and whereas such water system capital improvements project will generally consist, but not limited to, the installation of approximately 9,700 linear feet of water main along Cemetery Road in the town, along with the installation of fire hydrants, valves, and appurtenances, as well as other improvements as more fully identified in or contemplated by such map, plan, and report prepared by William Shutt Associates and referred to above, all of the foregoing to include all necessary site work, equipment, apparatus, and other improvements and costs incidental thereto, and in connection with the financing thereof, collectively the district improvement. And whereas, pursuant to the direction of the town, the engineer has completed and filed with the town board such preliminary map, plan, and report for such increase and improvement of facilities of the district, and has estimated the total cost thereof to be an estimated maximum amount of $4,046,500. Said cost to be financed by the 2025 issuance of serial bonds of the town, an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4,046,500, offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received. Now therefore be it resolved that a meeting of the town board of the town of Lancaster will hold a public hearing at the Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on June 17, 2024, or shortly thereafter, to consider said increase and improvement of facilities of the district, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same, and for such other action on the part of the town board with relation thereto as may be required by law. And be it further resolved that the expense of said increase and improvement of the facilities shall be financed by the 2025 issuance of serial bonds of the town in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $4,046,500. Said amount shall be offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received, and unless paid from other sources or charges, including but not limited to water rents, the cost of said increase and improvement of facilities shall be paid by the assessment levy and collection of special assessments from the several lots and parcels of land within the district, which the town board shall determine and specify to be especially benefited thereby, so much upon and from each as shall be in just proportion to the amount of benefit conferred upon the same, to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds as the same shall become due and payable except as provided by law. And be it further resolved that the town board may establish water rents as provided in paragraph D of subdivision 3 of the town law, section 198, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall constitute the declaration or reaffirmation of the town's official intent to reimburse to the extent permitted the expenditures of said increase and improvements of facilities with the proceeds of bonds, notes, and other obligations as required by United States Treasury Regulations, section 1.150-2, and be it further ordered that the town clerk publish at least once in each newspaper designated as the official newspaper of the town for such publication and post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subdivision 6 of section 30 of the town law, a copy of this order certified by said town clerk, the first publication thereof, and said posting be not less than 10, no more than 20 days before the start of each public hearing.
We have a second.
Second.
On the question? I do have some questions.
Oh, sorry.
Go
There's
ahead.
no time specified in the now therefore be it resolved, the first paragraph. However, in the actual notice, it says 7:15. You guys have been doing them at 7:05. I don't know if you want to insert an actual time in the resolution so they know when to come, or...
Sure.
Sure.
And then do you want it to be 7:05 or 7:15, depending on what you write, you may have to change page 3.
7:05?
It would have to be 7:15 because the legal I can't change.
Oh, you can't change. Oh. 7:15?
7:15.
Thank you.
You want to insert that?
Thank you.
Whatever time you want.
Okay.
Thank
If
you.
it's already been published, it makes the most sense to do 7:15.
Yep. Okay.
You want this in here where?
In the, therefore, the town board shall hold a public hearing at the town hall, right here, Central Avenue.
Right before or shortly thereafter.
Yeah, at 7:15,
Okay. Thank you.
or shortly thereafter. We can't go before. Okay. On the question, I do have a question. In the legal notice, it says that the town is anticipated to not exceed 40% of the cost. Is this going to be explained at the public hearing, or what are we looking at here?
It'll be explained as, we're pursuing grant funds.
Okay.
Pursuing grant funds for it, that'll pay 60%.
Right.
That'll pay 60%. Okay. All right. And then we'll always have the opportunity, if we don't get the 60% of the funds, to do something else at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
okay, great. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dixon?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 6, whereas by resolution adopted May 15, 2023, the town board of the town of Lancaster awarded the installation of a new video intercom at the main entrance to the town of Lancaster's Youth Bureau, located at 200 Oxford Avenue, to Fire Safety Systems, 525 Arrow Drive, Suite 200, Buffalo, New York. And whereas due to an administrative error, the May 15, 2023 resolution identified the budget account for this project to be paid for as 17310.211 Youth Bureau Equipment, Office Furniture and Equipment, which is not sufficiently funded to include this expenditure, and the Director of Finance has requested that the budget line be changed from 17310.211 to 11620.260 Buildings Equipment, Other Capital Outlay. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows, that the resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, May 15, 2023, is hereby amended to change the department budget account for this purchase will be paid for from Youth Bureau Equipment, Office Furniture and Equipment budget line 17310.211 to Buildings Equipment, Other Capital Outlay budget line 11620.260, and be it further resolved that the change order resolution adopted on April 15, 2024 for the additional purchase of a 7-inch color video intercom station for the main entrance at the town's Youth Bureau shall also be paid for with the funds from the town's 2024 Buildings Equipment, Other Capital Outlay budget line as stated 11620.260. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 7, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. And Honorable Board, I offer resolutions 7, 8, and 9 for consideration. Whereas a special use permit to allow for the operation of a New York State DEC-registered soil recycling facility, namely ESG Properties of Western New York LLC, on the premise of 6125 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster, was granted June 6, 2022, after holding a public hearing. And whereas a site inspection was performed on May 17, 2024 by Matt Fischione, Code Enforcement Officer of the town of Lancaster, to determine compliance with the conditions described in the resolution dated June 6, 2022. And whereas the May 17, 2024 site inspection noted deficiencies and violations, namely, the operation does not reflect the approved site plan from Project 3001 and presented the scale house, sediment basin, or dry detention basins are not installed, nor are the stockpile areas located where approved. And whereas the code of the town of Lancaster requires that the town board conduct a public hearing for the purpose of renewing or revoking a special use permit in compliance with the town of Lancaster, now therefore be it resolved that a public hearing to allow for remediation or revoking the special use permit held by ESG Properties of Western New York LLC on the premise located at 6125 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster, and to order the correction of all violations will be held at the Lancaster Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 17th day of June 2024 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and that notice of time and place of such hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee, a newspaper of general circulation in said town, and be posted on the town bulletin board, and that a copy of such notice of hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Resolution 8, whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has heretofore held a public hearing pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, Administration Enforcement of Special Use Permits of the Code of the town of Lancaster upon the application of Richard Cook of Special Use Permit for Home Occupation of CPA Office on the premise located at 60 Michaels Walk, Lancaster, New York, and the board having issued such special use permit on June 16, 2008, the special use permit is subject to renewal upon application by the property owners. And whereas, per its terms and conditions, the special use permit is currently up for renewal, and whereas by letter received April 15, 2024, Richard Cook has requested that the town board renew the special use permit for an additional 2-year term, and whereas Matt Fischione, Code Enforcement Officer, has recommended approval of the special use permit renewal per his letter dated May 20, 2024, now therefore be it resolved as follows, that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 4 residential districts, home occupations of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Richard J. Cook for home occupation of CPA office on the premise located at 60 Michael's Walk upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning June 16th, 2024 and ending June 15th, 2026. Number 2, that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth for home occupations and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster and to any additional conditions listed herein if the applicant continues to engage in this home occupation on the premise, namely, and it's the original 4 conditions.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Digman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Resolution number 9, whereas a special use permit to allow for the operation of a microbrewery tap room, namely Brew Fun Enterprise LLC Brazen Brewing, on the premise located at 5839 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster, was granted July 5th, 2022 after holding a public hearing. And whereas site inspection was performed on May 24th, 2024 by Matt Fiscione, Code Enforcement Officer of the town of Lancaster, to determine compliance with the conditions described in the resolution dated July 5th, 2022. And whereas the May 24th, 2024 site inspection noted that there are 2 recorded complaints for a temporary sign placement and the construction of an outdoor pergola structure without permitting. And whereas Matt Fiscione, Town of Lancaster Code Enforcement Officer, recommends that the special use permit be renewed with the same conditions and limitations to the original occupant load, parking area, and completion of a site plan amendment approval. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a conditional special use permit to Herb Andrew Schaub on behalf of Brew Fun Enterprise LLC Brazen Brewing to operate a microbrewery tap room, which includes retail sales, restaurant, and outdoor seating on the premise known as 5839 Genesee Street in the town of Lancaster upon conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for a period of from July 5th, 2024 through July 4th, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions set forth special use permits, light industrial of the Code of the Town of Lancaster if the applicant continues to engage in said business, and to any additional conditions listed here, and there are 7 conditions on it.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Digman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 10, whereas Ronald Rosler, Disaster Coordinator for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated May 14th, 2024, has advised the Town Board that the Office of Emergency Management no longer has use for the following equipment, and has requested that the Town Board deem these items to be surplus and permit the items to be placed up for bid on an online auction. We have a 1983 International School Bus. We have a 1990 utility trailer, 1994 utility trailer, and a 2001 utility trailer. And whereas the Town Board has given due consideration to the request of the Disaster Coordinator and deems it in the public interest to declare the before-mentioned equipment to be surplus equipment and permit placement of said items on an online auction, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby declares the before-mentioned International School Bus and 4 utility trailers to be surplus equipment, and authorizes the Disaster Coordinator to place said items up for public bid at an online auction with Auctions International, located on Big Tree Road in East Aurora, starting on June 6, 2024, and concluding on June 20th, 2024, with the funds received from said auction to be made payable to the Town of Lancaster and delivered to the Town Supervisor's office. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Digman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 11, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer resolution number 11 for adoption. Whereas by resolution adopted May 20th, 2024, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved the purchase of 5 new and unused 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit all-wheel drive vehicles at a unit price of $37,571.53 through the Onondaga County Division of Purchase from authorized vendor Robert Green Auto and Truck for a total expenditure of $187,857.65. Whereas, due to an administrative error, the May 20th, 2024 resolution and correctly list the total expenditure of the 5 vehicles as $187,857.65, where it should have been $188,757.65. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, May 20th, 2024, is hereby amended to reflect the total expenditure for the purchase of 5 new and unused 2023 Dodge Charger all-wheel drive pursuit vehicles as $188,757.65.
Okay, do we have a second
Second.
on the question? And I'll state right now that was an error made by my office, so I'll take the hit for that one, my apologies. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Schroeder?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 12. Whereas the town of Lancaster owns the band shell located in the Youth Bureau property at 100 Oxford Avenue, which is used by various entities to provide outdoor performances and events for the enjoyment and benefit of the community within the town of Lancaster. And whereas by emails dated May 2024, Councilmember Schroeder has proposed to the board that the following bands be hired to perform at the town's band's Shell Summer 2024 concert series: Flipside, Blood Money, 45 RPM British Invasion, Midnight Kings. And whereas the above referenced bands are under contract with Tom McGill of Starstruck Productions, and whereas a contract dated April 4th, 2024 has been presented by Tom McGill and reviewed by the town attorney for Flipside to perform on June 26th, 2024, Blood Money to perform on July 10th, 2024, 45 RPM to perform on July 24th, 2024, and Midnight Kings to perform on August 7th, 2024, for an amount not to exceed $5,800. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute the contract between the town and Tom McGill Starstruck Productions for the above referenced bands to perform on the dates provided at the town's band shell per the terms and conditions contained therein for an amount not to exceed $5,800, and which will be paid for with funds from the town's 2024 bands, concerts, contractual expenses, contractual services budget line. Be it further resolved that the 2024 adopted budget for the town of Lancaster be and is hereby amended by increasing funds in the band's concert budgets and decreasing funds in the celebrations budget in order to fund the above services as follows. Celebrations from 1-7140.415, transferring $5,800 for contractual expenses and special celebrations and civics cleanup campaign to band concerts, 1-7270.411, contractual expenses and contractual services.
Okay, do we have a second
Second.
on the question?
Just want to note that in the fourth whereas it says reviewed by the town attorney, it doesn't say approved. I haven't approved it. I had questions. I have not seen the new contract. I haven't seen the proper certifications for insurance. I'm told that the contract has been amended since I last saw it. Just want to bring that to your attention. I don't know what it says since it's been amended, but I suspect it has to do with insurance, but I can't say for sure. It's just what I've been told.
Okay, hang on a second. That's good. So what are you recommending we change that to?
I don't recommend any changes, Mr. Supervisor. Just letting my board know that I haven't approved it because I haven't seen what may have been done to it after I rejected it. Didn't reject it on its terms per se, only that it didn't have the proper
Verbiage.
assurances. And that's something that I was working on with Councilmember Schroeder. I think at the last meeting, you had indicated that there would be forthcoming new language as well as new insurance certificates. I just want you to know I don't know how it reads. So I don't want anyone to think I've already approved it. I have reviewed it, or at least the first one, not the one that I believe you're voting on tonight.
Okay, so the remedy to this at this
The
point?
remedy was, well, what had happened very quickly, actually, too close to the meeting here, was that Tom had checked with Lawley for certain insurance verbiage, We included the verbiage that Lawley suggested in the Starstruck production contract, which is in your office. And Lawley suggested an umbrella policy. Tom suggested, we felt Lawley's suggestion of an umbrella policy, which is also on the C of I. He did secure the umbrella policy, which increased the cost of the services. But that C of I is also in your office. And I was going to share that with Tom because that C of I expires in June, which is current for the signing of the contract, but right after the signing of the contract here, it's going to expire, in which I was going to share the C of I, the new C of I with Tom.
Okay. So can we put into this resolution contingent upon the approval of the town attorney? Please? Okay. Okay, good. And where exactly are we going to put that? Where do you recommend?
Yeah.
Where?
Right here.
Okay.
I think if you just make it the last
Yeah.
thing after the 5,800 on the last whereas, that'll suffice.
Okay, sounds good. The board in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did we have a second?
Second.
Okay. On the question, we took care of that. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 13. Whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated May 21st, 2024, has appointed John Robinson IV to fill the open position of laborer grade number 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department pursuant to New York State Highway law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby recognizes the appointment of John Robinson IV of Lancaster to the position of laborer grade 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department effective June 6, 2024, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiation agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the CSEA Blue Collar Union and all applicable provisions of law. And be it further resolved that John Robinson IV of Lancaster is hereby appointed to the full-time position of laborer grade 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department at an hourly rate of $25.93 an hour on step, which represents 80% of the full salary of $32.41 per hour. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, is John John Robinson in here tonight? John, stand up for us. Congratulations. Oh, wait, we didn't have a vote yet. I apologize. Stand there for a minute. Okay. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Now you're good. Yes. Okay. Resolution number 14. Okay. Whereas Bruce Stutz, Parks Crew Chief for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated May 29th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individuals to the position of part-time temporary seasonal in the Parks Recreation and Forestry Department for the spring-summer season of 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal positions in the Parks, Rec, and Forestry Department for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time temporary employees. We have numerous rec attendants. We have numerous lifeguards and lifeguard supervisors in there. We also have additional rec instructors, laborers, and we have a total of 77 seasonal part-time personnel. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Bruce, do we have any of those people with us here tonight? They're all coming in. No. We do not. Thank you. Okay. Resolution number 15, Councilmember Burkhart.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 15 for adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has reviewed a memorandum of agreement which has been reached between the negotiating teams representing the Town of Lancaster and the collective bargaining unit of the Civil Service Employees Association, Town of Lancaster Highway Unit Local 815. Whereas, after due review and consideration of the Town Board deems it in the public interest to ratify the memorandum of agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the Civil Service Employees Association. Now therefore it be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby adopts and ratifies the memorandum of agreement as negotiated with the beforementioned civil service employees between the Town of Lancaster and the Civil Service Employees Association, Local 1000, and the Town of Lancaster Highway Unit Local 815. And the Town Board further authorizes and directs the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster to execute the memorandum of agreement as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes, and I still want to say that I believe that our other full-time employees should be entitled to this as well. It's not really going to cost a whole bunch if it's kind of like a floating holiday. It's not, we're paying everybody an extra day, bonus day pay in their paycheck. I think to make it fair for everybody, we should offer this to our other units. And that's why I'm a yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
And I believe my fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayer as well as fairness to the other employees, I am voting no.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
And I've already stated my reasons previously. I'm voting no for this one. Okay. Resolution number 16, Councilmember Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. Whereas Daniel Amatura and Campbell Amatura, owners of Frank's Grill, have submitted an application for a special use permit to place a temporary outdoor 20 to 30-foot tent for outdoor summer dining at the existing building located at 5820 Broadway, Lancaster, New York, as permitted in Business Light Industrial Zoning District and in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 400-46 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. And whereas Chapter 400 Zoning, Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, Section 400-78, Special Use Permits of the Zoning Code of the Town of Lancaster requires that the Town Board conduct a public hearing before the issuance of a special use permit for the proposed use. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400-78, Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, a public hearing on the proposed special use permit for Daniel Amatura and Campbell Amatura, owners of Frank's Grill, to place a temporary outdoor 20 to 30-foot tent for outdoor summer dining at the existing building located at 5820 Broadway, Lancaster, New York, will be held at the Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 1st of July, 2024 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and that the notice of time and place of such hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee, a newspaper of general circulation in said town, and be posted on the town bulletin board, and that a copy of such notice of hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to Section 239 EM of the General Municipal Law, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second, but it says 20 to 30 inches.
Which is how the application reads.
Is it really?
The application reads 20 to 30 inches. It came to my office that way. I don't know why anybody would want to sit under a 20-inch tent, but that's what Mr. Amatura asked for. And I am not authorized to make changes to an SUP application. I'm only allowed to deal with what I'm given. So apologies. Perhaps we should bring that up to him at the hearing, or maybe he could be notified of that in advance.
You should probably notify him before he shows up.
To amend his
Do the right thing.
Tiny, tiny.
It's a small tent.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe a couple of feet would go in there. Another question on there. Do we have a business light industrial zoning district? Is that correct, Matt? What should that be?
It's General Commercial District.
General commercial district? Okay. Any objections to changing that to general commercial district? Okay.
No.
No.
Okay, anything else on the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 17, whereas William Gummo, Chief of Police for the town of Lancaster, by written request on May 28, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individual to the position of part-time temporary seasonal in the Lancaster Dog Control Department for the spring-summer season of 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the following individual is hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal position in the Lancaster Dog Control Department for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that this being a part-time position provides no health insurance, sick days, vacation, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. And that individual's name is Jessica Pick, Lancaster, New York, Assistant Dog Control Officer at an hourly rate of $21.85 per hour, effective June 3rd, 2024. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do we have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. And is Jessica with us here tonight? Yes. Jessica, please stand up for a second. Congratulations on getting additional time. It's my understanding that you'll be working closely with whoever is selected from the police department in kind of a changeover in dog control, correct? And you come from a lot of dog control background, correct? Because again, people are seeing you for the first time.
Yeah, I have run 3 other towns, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Resolution number 18, Councilmember Studley.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer resolutions number 18 and 19 for adoption. Whereas the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 26 of the Town of Lancaster Town Code provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas the Town of Lancaster Town Board is proposing to amend Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 350 Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance, Article 9, Section 350-12 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, whereas the board has duly considered the action and environmental assessment form and the criteria for determining significance set forth, in 6 NYCRR Section 617.7C and such other information deemed appropriate, and whereas the proposed action has been labeled a Type 1 action under seeker, and whereas the board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern and has taken a hard look at these areas and has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination. Now therefore be it resolved, 1, based upon a thorough review and examination of the known facts relating to the action and its careful review of all potentially adverse environmental impacts and the entire record and proceedings related to the action, the board finds that the action will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment and that a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared. 2, the attached negative declaration incorporated herein by reference is issued and adopted for the reasons stated therein. 3, the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to distribute copies of the resolution as necessary. 4, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies, filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And 5, this resolution is effective immediately.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. And number 19, Councilmember Studley?
Number 19, whereas the Municipal Home Rule Law of the State of New York and Chapter 26 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster provide for the adoption and enactment of local laws, and whereas a proposed ordinance amendment to amend Part 2 General Legislation, Chapter 350 Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance to the Code of the Town of Lancaster was introduced to the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster by Councilmember Studley, and whereas the Town Board, acting as lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, has determined that the action is a Type 1 action and has issued a negative declaration, and whereas the Town Board called for notice and held a public hearing on the proposed amendment on May 6, 2024, where all interested parties were allowed to address the proposed amendment. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that the attached amendment to the Vehicle and Traffic Ordinance is hereby adopted, that said amendment be added in the minutes of the meeting of the Town Board held today, that a certified copy thereof be published in the Lancaster Bee as soon as practicable. 5, that a certified copy of the amendment be posted on the town bulletin board. 6, the affidavits of publication and posting be filed with the town clerk. 7, that the highway superintendent take whatever action is necessary to install signs in accordance with the law.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? And I'll just note in here, if you don't have the attachment, this is the speed limit of 30 miles per hour shall be posted on the following designated highways: add Warner Road for northbound and southbound traffic from Pleasant View Drive to Green Meadow Drive, and add Stutzman Road for eastbound, westbound, northbound, and southbound traffic between Genesee Street and Pleasant View Drive. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 20. Whereas Gloria and David Chavez have submitted a subdivision application for the proposed minor subdivision and lot line adjustment of a combined 27-acre parcel, which encompasses 3666 and 3670 Bowen Road in the town of Lancaster, in order to create 4 lots with the following average: 2.35 acres, 0.46 acres, 5 acres, and 11.86 acres, and increase the lot line of 3670 Bowen to 6.89 acres, which includes drawings BS1 dated May 18, 2022, and MS1 dated September 15, 2023, both prepared by William Shutt Associates and received September 27, 2024. And whereas the planning board called for and noticed and held a public hearing on the proposed minor subdivision on December 6, 2023, where all interested parties were allowed to be heard, and whereas the town planning board has completed an environmental review for the entire project on December 6, 2023, in conformance with Seeker State Environmental Quality Review regulations, and the town board, acting as lead agency, issued a negative declaration on December 18, 2023, which was amended and adopted on May 20, 2024, and whereas the project was submitted to the planning board and was recommended for approval at the December 6, 2023 meeting, and whereas warranty deed lead covenants have been prepared, filed, and recorded with Erie County on April 29, 2024, to allow access to the existing ditch on the involved parcels for as-needed maintenance purposes by the town, and whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has duly reviewed and considered the proposed minor subdivisions, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the proposed minor subdivision and lot line adjustment of a combined 27-acre parcel located at 3666, 3670 Bowen Road in the town of Lancaster, broken up as stated earlier, which included drawings as stated earlier from BS1 dated May 18th and MS1 dated September 15th, both prepared again by William Shutt Associates and received September 27th, 2024. The following conditions: September 27th did not, 2024, did not occur yet. 2023.
Oh, that would be for the upper one as well.
What's that?
That would be for the first paragraph as well.
Yeah, well,
The last line of the first
yep.
paragraph.
Okay, we're living in the future. Okay, so we're making changes to the resolution to 2023. Board approve. Okay, all right. By William Shutt Associates, the following conditions: warranty deed lien covenants to be shown on individual lot surveys. 2, installation of T-turn around driveways is required. 3, installation of public sidewalks is required. 4, 7 copies of the filed deeds and surveys of the newly created 4 lots with proof of filing with Erie County Clerk's Office by the applicant being delivered to the town clerk's office. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, that concludes our pre-filed resolutions. At this point in the town board meeting, we're going to go through the communications by the town clerk. Communications and reports. Number 277, resolution tonight. 278, resolution tonight. 279, resolution tonight. 280, received and filed. 281, resolution tonight. 282, received and filed. 283, Safety Committee. 284, received and filed. 285, Planning Committee. 286, for resolution. 287, resolution tonight. 288, resolution tonight. 289, Planning Committee. 290, resolution tonight. 291, received and filed. 292, resolution tonight. 293, received and filed. 294, for resolution. 295, resolution tonight. 296, resolution tonight. 297 is going to the supervisor's office. Okay. All right. At this point in time, we're going to allow anyone who wants to come up and address the town board on any subject to do so. Again, the town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any town of Lancaster subject for a total period of 30 minutes. Please, as before, raise his or her hand and be recognized by the supervisor. Give his or her name and address the town clerk. Speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided. And number 4, speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants the speaker an extension of this time limit. Do we have anyone who wants to address the town board on any subject matter at this point? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is James Ostroff, O-S-T-R-O-F-F. My residence is 48 Stutzman Road, Bowmansville, New York. Tonight I'm speaking for the residents of Warner Road and Stutzman Road. We all want to thank you very much, individually and collectively, for passing this resolution. I know it'll take a little while for it to take effect, but still, the point is made, and we're looking forward to the reduced speed limits. Again, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else who wants to address the town board at this time? Please raise your hand. Yes, sir.
Kevin Namaster, 720 Schwartz. For open and transparent government, I think it's reasonable to make sure that Adam Dickman is going to benefit from this. If the village turns around and follows the lead of the town, you personally will benefit. And Councilmember Studley, your uncle is personally going to benefit, which I want the taxpayers to know that you do have a family member on the highway department who is directly involved in this. I don't think it's correct. I think both of you should have abstained from voting. And to me, it's irresponsible. Thank you. Congratulations. Good luck.
Okay, do we have anybody else who wants to address the town board at this time on any subject matter?
I just have one thing. I got a message from our former supervisor and asked if I could read something to the board and to Mr. Fowler tonight.
Be my guest.
Thank you. He just wrote this up. It says, whereas Thomas E. Fowler Jr., a dedicated employee of the town of Lancaster, as town attorney for the past 2.5 years, and whereas Thomas Fowler Jr. will impact the town due to his departure as an employee from the town of Lancaster, which is a great loss to our community, and whereas Thomas E. Fowler Jr. has shown his immeasurable loyalty to the town of Lancaster, and whereas Tom Fowler Jr. has shown his knowledge of the needs of the town of Lancaster as being second to none, and whereas Thomas E. Fowler Jr. has performed his duties with an unbiased opinion based on the facts, which is commendable, and whereas Thomas E. Fowler Jr. has shown his commitment for working with the people of the town and not political parties, which is admirable. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Ron Ruffino, Senior, former supervisor of the town of Lancaster, consider Tom a colleague in our past business and a true friend, Ronald Ruffino, Senior, former town supervisor.
Very good.
Yes.
Anybody else want to address the town board on any matter? Okay. Seeing no additional hands raised at this point, we are going to have to go into executive session. We're actually going into 10 executive sessions, so we may not be out until tomorrow morning, but we will do our best. Thank you. Okay.
Email?
We need, hold on.
Oh, we need to make a motion. We have to make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion to go into executive session.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to executive session.
Yeah, can we get...
Okay, thank you. Good. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, except for you.